Hey guys, Steve here, and welcome to the first installment of the eBay videos. If you don't know who I am, my name's Steve. I run an eBay store called Pokemon Steven. I've been selling on eBay for over a decade now. I've sold probably 70 to 80,000 items online. I've been doing this for a long time, and now I'm here to help you with everything I can. In this video, we're going to go through the account setup for an eBay seller account. We're going to go through the username and the details of that, the account preferences, buyer requirements, business policies. We'll break down the payment, return, and postage policies, and then we'll finish up with the seller hub and we'll tweak it a little bit and make it look good. Let's talk about pretty much the most important thing I personally think when it comes to selling on eBay is you have to have a good name. You can't just have a lame name like Xbox Gamer Nerd 555 if you just sell Pokemon cards like I do. I chose Pokemon Steven for my eBay name because I sell Pokemon cards. You know, if I was living in Texas, I would probably call myself Texas Steven. Something like that. You want to have a name that's personal and a little bit in your niche. Not just like some random bunch of letters that you're just gonna like throw together, like just like keyboard and mouse guy. If you sell keyboard and mouse products, you know, if you sell cameras like I'm looking into right now, you want to put Camera Steven or something like that. Something that's personal within your niche, and people, when they see it time and time again, like, hey, that's Camera Steven. I know that guy. I trust him. And not just some random name that doesn't bring you together with the items you're actually selling. So you want to get something like a PO box as your address when you're a seller on eBay. You want to have a parcel locker or a PO box address or something that isn't linked to your home address. So, you know, when you're sending out hundreds and hundreds of packages, eventually you don't want just your address just spread all over the world. You want to keep yourself private, keep your items safe, and keep your location, you know, to yourself. But the PO box and everything is public information. Let's get into some fun stuff. So let's go account settings again. Go all the way down and we'll go into selling preferences. This is some good stuff. We're going to go from top to bottom here like I'm highlighting. We're going to go through every single one of them. So automate feedback. Let's have a look at this. I have automatically leave positive feedback after the buyer has paid for an item. And you can edit some comments. You can put some stored things here. All these other things as things that eBay leaves automatically for the buyers. You can fill in for it if you want. So thank you for buying from my store. And you can have like something like that. You can save it. Or you can have leave feedback after the buyer has paid for the item and left you positive feedback. I don't really agree with having it like that. You want to, as soon as a buyer has paid for the item, it leaves them feedback automatically. It's a super great thing. It gets your store out there. It's kind of like advertising for your store on buyers' feedback. People do click on buyers. They do click on their feedback to see who they're buying from. It has happened many times before. So have a catchy feedback line that someone actually is going to buy from your store. You know, you could write something like, you know, the best card store in the world, something like that. And people will be like, oh crap, that guy's got the best card store in the world. I want to click on that. And that's a way you can just, you know, you can grow your brand, you can push it out more and then get more clicks on your store. Return preferences. This is something that it's not as important for a brand new eBay seller. Even for a seller like me, I don't have any return preferences set on my main account. They're more of an automating returns. So let's just say someone wants to return an item that's $10, they'll automatically get refunded if you're a really, really big store. You don't want to touch anything like that. You know, if you're a newer eBay seller or even like a moderate eBay seller, like 100 items a month, you don't want to leave it like that. You want to manage your own returns, understand why you're getting returns, and then work on those and work on getting those returns down. Next, we'll go into preferences for items awaiting payment. I don't have this clicked because it just automatically cancels unpaid items. I usually cancel after like 4 to 7 days if people haven't paid for items, because that's when you can just go unpaid items, strike the buyer. And it doesn't happen that often in my items that I'm selling, but it happens to people all the time. And eventually you'll get used to it and you'll understand when people actually will or won't buy. Communicate with the buyers, obviously, send them messages, update them. But if they ultimately don't pay, you just go cancel, buyer hasn't paid after 4 or 5 days, then you go on to the next thing. Multi-quantity listings. So this is a listing stay out of stock and buyers can see exactly how many items are left. Both definitely checkbox yes. So listing stay active when you're out of stock is an amazing feature on eBay. So just imagine you have 10 of the same item, you make one listing with one in stock. It sells, it goes to 0 in stock, but the listing still stays active. Usually when it sells, you would have to relist. And when you relist, you lose all the watches, you lose all the views, you use the sale on the actual item. So when listings stay active out of stock, it's really good if you have 10 of the same item and then you can just replace the stock from 0 to 1 and you can keep your listing and not have to make a new listing. Plus you keep all your searches and everything, views, sales history, everything, and it bumps your item up a little bit in the search terms if it's a good listing that's been bought off before. And buyers can see exactly how many are left. That's also awesome. So you have 4 in stock, the buyer can see that there's 4 in stock. If they want to buy 4 of them, they'll just buy 4 of them. Also, you'll still keep your listing even if it goes to 0 stock. Just remember, for brand new sellers, you are capped on the amount of listings you can have. Eventually, you'll have 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 listings as an established eBay store. But when you're starting, you get usually under 100. So you have to remember this will keep one listing on your store for the whole time. So maybe unticking this or just managing your listings and deleting them as you make them as a new seller. But eventually as a store, if you're selling the same items over and over again, you want to keep those listings stay active when you're out of stock. So we'll go down to your buyers, managing who can buy from you. So we'll go over to the right here, click edit. And now this looks quite confusing, but I'll break it down for you. So buyer requirements, this is what this section is for. Block buyers who cause 2 cancellations of unpaid purchases within the last 1, 6, or 12 months. And that could be 2, 3, 4, or 5. I personally do 2 cancellations of unpaid items within the last month. I think 6 months is a little bit too harsh because, you know, some people, ultimately you do want people to be buying your items. There are people that go a little bit too overboard sometimes, buy things and maybe something unexpected comes up and they can't afford them anymore, or they just don't want to buy their item anymore, or maybe they found a better price. So within 1 month is perfectly reasonable to me. 6 months feels a little bit more punishing, and 12 months is like, well, that's just a little bit too crazy in my opinion. The next thing is block buyers whose primary delivery address is in a location I don't post to. So this is, imagine you've blocked Italy from being able to buy from you, and then someone from Italy actually does attempt to buy something from you, like make an offer without an immediate purchase, and then you're like, hey, I don't post to Italy. If you click this, it'll completely stop them from buying off you altogether. But maybe you want to make an exception for one buyer and they want to get it sent to a different address, or they want to use a different shipping method, maybe a more safe shipping method, or maybe you just know them from buying off you before and they moved country or something like that. I don't turn this on because it is a little bit too restrictive. I am a seller and I do want to sell items to as many people as I possibly can. Block buyers who are currently winning or have bought one of my items in the last 10 days. This one's a little bit silly. I'm not too sure what this is for because I don't know why you would want to block buyers who are like winning your items. But this is mainly for huge stores that are doing a lot of auctions, or maybe like big stores that are selling $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 items on auctions like cars and stuff like that. And maybe they want to limit it and not get too many people winning the same auctions. And then these requirements, only set this requirement to block buyers with a feedback score of less than 5. Don't allow blocked buyers to contact me. I have this on. You know, if I actually end up blocking a buyer, it's just crazy. It doesn't happen that often. You know, in my last like almost 10 years on eBay, I probably have 100 blocked buyers. You're really unnecessary to block buyers most of the time, but sometimes you get someone who just pushes the envelope a little bit too much and you don't want them to message you anymore. Definitely don't allow blocked buyers to contact me. And you can click here, apply above settings to active and future listings. That's perfectly fine. And buyer payment requirements requires buyers to provide a payment method before they make an offer. Perfectly fine. So that is an example. If they make a 0 feedback brand new eBay account and they don't have a payment on file, they can't just send you an offer. That's pretty much what that means. And you know, a lot of the times people make brand new accounts, they send you an offer to troll you and they won't pay, and they've already deleted that account or deleted eBay off their phone before they've even cared about you even trying to respond. And that's a little bit frustrating, but it's definitely something that I would always click. So we'll go into the blocked buyer list now. So you just go to the right again, hit edit, and here we are. Here's the block buyer list. So how you separate this is you write the buyer's name. I put myself in here already. You put comma and then a space, and then you can just put as many buyers' names as you want. Eventually they will sort it alphabetically. It does look like a huge cluster of messages and text after you have a whole bunch of buyers on there, but I promise you, you just go to the bottom, comma, space, add the buyer's name, and eventually it will automatically alphabetically sort it for you and it will all be sorted. The rest of the settings, like buyers can see your VAT number, that's not important for me as an Australian seller, so I don't know too much about that. And you know, your monthly invoice, you can change how they send it to you. You can get an email and apply your account credits to the amount due. I just have that selected because it's pretty handy sometimes. Business policies are up next. So you just want to go on the left, hit business policies, and then you're on this page here. Now this is quite confusing. You're hearing the words business policies. Even me, myself, I think of business policies and I get kind of confused a little bit sometimes, but just imagine they're payment, postage, and return defaults that you can set to your items. You can also bulk edit them on your items to change a whole bunch at once if you want to change things. There are awesome little things to use. You want to have your business policy page definitely bookmarked. You'll be on it quite a lot as a seller, fixing things up here and there, changing things up, and making new things to accommodate for your buyers. Before we go deep into the business policies, we have an item listing pulled up. We'll scroll down to the bottom and you can just see here where it has postage policy. I have selected my free shipping domestic only policy. We'll go into that soon. And for the payment, I have selected auction payment because this was planned to be an auction payment listing. But when you click on that, it does pull up immediate payment and auction payment. You can just click those easy when you have the policy set up. So with the business policies, we're going to break down the payment policies first. So I recommend as a brand new eBay seller, you make 2 payment policies here. When you want to make a policy, you just go create policy, payment, return, postage, perfectly fine. I have my 2 payment policies already set up. I have immediate payment. So when someone wants a buy it now item off me, they have to pay immediately. I don't let people buy and then not pay and then obviously get hit with unpaid item strikes later on, or they just never pay and it kind of just wastes my time, takes my item down, and it's not a great thing. So an immediate payment on buy it now listing is definitely the greatest thing to do. And then you also, if you ever plan on doing auctions, you have to have another policy set up. I just write it as auction payment, and you just take off require immediate payment when buyer uses buy it now, even though it doesn't really make sense too much because you're setting it as an auction, but you just have to have require immediate payment off because it's an auction. Obviously they end and then the buyer pays after it ends. They don't pay immediately. It won't actually let you list the auction if you don't have an auction payment policy set up. We'll talk about our return policy now. So obviously you would go create policy and return. I already have one here, so we'll have a look at it. So with returns, I just return default, set as default return policy. I have domestic returns accepted, 30 days, and seller free returns. So with this, when you have returns on your items, a lot of people go, I don't accept returns. I don't accept returns. You can't return my items. Well, unfortunately, if you sell in Australia on eBay, you have to send the item back. And I'm pretty sure that it's very similar for America. You have to send the item back if the person wants to return it. So you might as well offer returns. Offering seller free returns makes you eligible for top rated seller as a seller. Now that is way down the track, you don't really have to worry about that too much, but obviously being a top rated seller, you get better fee discounts, your items are more visible on the eBay online, and it's just a better thing to strive for. But at the moment, I do suggest putting seller free returns. Returns are very, very minimal. I mean, I might sell 1,000 items in a month and I'll get 2 returns maybe. And even then, that's very, very rarely I get a return. So trust me, they don't happen as often as you might think. But if you put seller free returns, even if you have 2 per month and you sell that many, by having free returns on, it pushes your items up and makes you look like a better seller and you get top rated eventually. Those benefits definitely outweigh the 2 returns you have to pay for through eBay. So that was just domestic returns. I still accept international returns as well, but the postage has to be paid by the buyer. And usually the problem with returns too much is that sometimes a buyer might want to return something, but they don't want to pay postage. So they'll just item not as describe you, and that does happen, and it sucks, and you have to pay for the item to get shipped back to you then. But if you have a good person out there who just wants to return the item, they will pay for the shipping, they'll send it back to you. I'm happy to offer it to people in my own country to send the item back because it only cost me a few dollars to get the item sent back. But international, some places cost $40, $50, $60 to send the item back, and it's not worth it. So if they want to send it back to me, more than happy to accept it, but I won't bear the cost for the international return shipping. So now let's jump into the postage policy. So I'll just click edit on here. It'll open up your postage policy, or you can go create postage policy, however you want to do it. Before we get into postage and everything around the policies, remember you have to pay eBay fees on your postage. So even if your item's $10 and you spend $5 on postage, that's a $15 item, and then they will charge you fees on the whole $15. So you do have to pay postage fees. It does suck. They used to not have it. People used to abuse it, so now they added it in. That's just how it is. But with the postage, I recommend as a brand new seller, understand how much your item's going to cost. If you're selling trading cards like me, go to the post office, figure it out. Or if you have things that you can take advantage of, because in US, they have the eBay standard envelope. If in the UK, figure out how much it is the cheapest thing for a tracked Royal Mail envelope. Any other country you're from, just figure it out and just talk to the post office. You're going to be there a lot. So talk to your post office, talk to them a lot every day, constantly badge them. Maybe eventually you can get discounted rates or something like that. But at the very start, understand how much it costs to ship your item before you even think about even listing it, let alone selling it. But this is how I recommend having domestic postage set up for a brand new seller. I recommend free postage with 1 business day. Why do I recommend this? So free postage gets you all the way up there in the search metrics. Handling time 1 business day gets you all the way up there in the search metrics. Obviously, you want to have your items #1 on the search, and then people will buy them. If you cannot get to the post office every single day, 2 business days fine. 3 business days is a little bit too far. And then obviously down here, they even say excessive. They never used to say that, but now it says excessive. 4, 5, 10, 40 business days. You might as well not be selling stuff at that point. But yeah, I recommend 1 or 2. If you can't make it, 3 is fine. But yeah, eventually try to work up having 1 business day. So why do I recommend free postage? Not always. If your item is under $10, paid postage is definitely fine because those are very cheap items. You can't just absorb like a $2 postage fee, $3 postage fee every single time. But if you're selling something for $10, $20, $30, $40, definitely have free postage and just add the postage cost into the item. Trust me, you will get so many more benefits people will see the items. There's a button on eBay even for free postage. If they click that, they can't even see your item. That's the worst thing possible. I've been using free shipping for a long time now, and my whole life changed as soon as I use free shipping and as soon as I changed to 1 business day as well. People get their item next day sometime from me and they love it. They leave the feedback. It's the best thing ever. If you want to have paid postage, you just have to click off free postage and then just add how much it costs. And you know, if they buy 2 things for you and maybe you have to use a little bit extra shipping materials, you just put 20 cents as extra and you save that, and that's how that works. But I just advocate for having free postage and then just adding it into your price on your eBay item. International postage, and that's a little bit of a hard topic to address for a brand new eBay seller if you are one. I suggest not having it on at all, and then over time working towards it. You know, when you have international postage on, so you go flat, same cost to all buyers, it opens up this, you know, let's just say you want to charge $25 and then which locations you actually want to ship to. You can ship to everywhere. I do not recommend doing this as a brand new eBay seller. I recommend just doing countries that you are comfortable with. So there is stuff like United States is a good one. United Kingdom is a good one. Most of Europe is pretty fine. Japan is great. New Zealand. You know, don't just click Asia because there are parts of Asia maybe you're not comfortable. Don't click Russian Federation, obviously, right now. Probably not a good idea to send to the Russian Federation. But, you know, places like Brazil, when they have worse tracking systems and there's a higher chance for an item to get missing, you obviously don't want to use that. But for now, as a brand new eBay seller, just have international postage off altogether. So there is ways to make postage rate tables, and then it'll like pull postage rates from your own local post offices or exclude postage locations, and you can create an exclusion list here. These are things that are a little bit more advanced. If you want to know more about those, definitely put them down in the comments. Ask me, I'll help you out. But for now, we're just going to have a domestic free shipping only for our eBay store because I do recommend that is the best thing you can possibly do. So we've discussed every topic in the video that we wanted to achieve. Now, let's go to the seller hub. So you're going to go top right, hit selling/sold. This should bring up your seller hub. If you aren't opted into the seller hub, it won't bring it up. I'll put a link in the description for you to opt into the seller hub. You know, I was actually quite amazed. I made this brand new account and I wasn't already in the seller hub. And I was like, wow, the seller hub's awesome. Every single person should have it. It's free to use. All you have to do is opt in. Obviously, you click up the top right here. We can opt out of the seller hub, but let's customize this bad boy. You can change every single thing here. So you got your orders, you know, get started. They have a great new guide for new sellers here. It'll show your sales, your listings, your traffic, your seller region, your selling tools, shortcuts to stuff that you want, feedback, selling announcements, promotional offers. So it says here, I can list 250,000 items for free each month, which is quite crazy because I'm a brand new store. I didn't even know that they did that these days. Or I can only actually list 70 items a month. But maybe if I hit this 70 monthly limit on my first month as my brand new account, I can go request a list more here and it'll pull it up, and then eBay will be like, okay, this guy's hit his limit. They'll give him some more next month and a little bit more next month, and you'll grow slowly as an eBay account. But this is the seller hub. Play around with it. I'm not going to show you how to set it up because every single person can have a different. Maybe you want your sales in the front. Maybe you want to see how much traffic you're getting. Maybe you want your orders in the front. You know, you do you. This is your seller hub. You do the best thing you can. But eventually, once you start having listings going and having orders coming and sales and traffic, you're going to see all these bars and graphs everywhere. It's quite awesome to see. If you need any help with the seller hub, put it in the comments, send me a message. I'll help you out. We can discuss it together. If you have any questions about anything in this video, please put in the comments. And if there's anything you think that I didn't cover in this video or points that I should have covered, please put them in the comments. I had no hard feelings. If you have things that can help other people out, definitely throw them in the comments. We can grow all together. We can all learn from each other. I'm still been using eBay for a long time, but there's definitely things that I can still learn. So please throw them in the comments. If you like these kind of videos, let me know. If you're looking forward to the next one, I'll be busy making it. And that's pretty much it. You know, thank you for watching and have a great day.